Q&A. Hello, hello, hello. We will get started in a few minutes as people come in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll get started in 30 seconds. Good evening, Newton North. Getting a little bit of feedback here. Okay, let's try it again. Good evening, Newton North Junior families. Welcome to Junior Night. We wish that we were all in person with you, knowing that this is an important night for all of you. And especially because I usually on this night ask who has gone through junior night or the post-secondary process before, and make sure that those where this is your first time, that you know who those people are so you can ask questions. So we want to make sure that even though we're not in person, that you feel like you have the support around you this year as you begin the transition for your students as they think about post-secondary and also thinking about what they can do for the next year and a half while they are here at Newton North. With that, I would say that a couple of things that come to mind that I'd like to just highlight. One is that a message we start to share with juniors, and especially as they go into senior year, is thinking about what is their legacy? What is their legacy at Newton North? What is something that they can contribute, whether individually or as a school, whether it is starting a new club, engaging in some sort of rich debate or discussion. Who are the people that they're going to build relationships with, both adults as well as classmates. So thinking about their legacy here. The second is I know that I'm sure for a lot of you that is on your mind is how is the last couple of years with COVID going to influence, impact my child as our student as we think about going into next year for applications, but also in terms of their future. One thing that's been really promising for us in terms of data is that for those who are looking for college, is that what we learned from last year's class, 80% of Newton North students got into one of their top 3 schools that they were looking for. And considering the diversity of our student population and using diversity in so many different ways, that's a really exciting data point, knowing that our students are getting into places where they really want to go. Additionally, looking at our early acceptance rates this year, we're really excited that knowing that whether it's through our grades, GPA, that there were some changes, our schedule, the changes that we had made, and what we are seeing through early acceptance is that really reassuring that we've made a lot of the right calls here, and also that our students are thriving and doing well. So that's encouraging, and we want to make sure that we're doing what's right for your child, for your student. And so I really, every year, this is my 6th year at Newton North, and every year I am more and more energized by our counseling department, by their knowledge base, by the way in which they individualize for students, that they understand the range of schools and post-secondary ideas that our students are looking for, whether it's a gap year, military, going into career, that they are constantly broadening their knowledge, and that they are therapeutic and supportive for students. Because we also know this is a challenging time, stressful time, and also that we're inherently we are just right now in a very stressful time in our society and in our lives. And that mental health is at the forefront of our minds. So that knowing that as they go into this really challenging time of applications, thinking about post-secondary, that we really have an amazing crew that is really committed to your child, the diversity of your child's needs, and they have expertise in so many different areas. With that, I really hope that you get to ask a lot of questions tonight, that you look at the videos that were shared with you prior to this. If you watch them afterwards, know that your counselor is here for you, and also start to think about what are some things that can be, legacy building for my child. I'm also hopeful that next year we're going to have we're going to be able to have some of our events that we've had in the past, such as our exchange programs, where we've traveled to all of our different sister cities in Europe and in Asia. I also am hopeful that we have more opportunities for students as we think about that. And so my last comment is that our SEAL program, which is new and unique to Newton North, this year we have 3 SEALs: SEAL of biliteracy, social justice, and civic action, are ways for students to demonstrate their passion in those areas. We're going to have 3 new SEALs for juniors this year that are about to be about to be approved, all within fine and performing arts. The SEAL of fine and performing arts, the SEAL of art, SEAL of music, and the SEAL of theater. Looking at other schools, we're one of the few schools in the country that have a way for students to get a micro-credential or to demonstrate on their transcript that they have an expertise. We think that this is something that's allowing students to stand out in comparison to other schools, other high schools that have students who are applying to colleges. So I'm really excited about that. You'll learn more about our SEAL students will learn more about our SEAL program and how they can apply for them in their junior year. With that, I'm going to pass it on to your House Dean, Scott Heslin.
Thank you, Dr. Turner, and good evening, everybody. Wish obviously I could say the same, that it's so good to see everybody, but looking at the participant list, just thankful that so many of you guys were able to make it to this panelist session so you can hear all about the things that the counselors and the other support staff in school are going to be doing with your kids moving forward this year. We're right in the middle of junior seminars. We started last week. We have the second session this coming Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So your students will be getting a lot of the same information that's going to be shared here tonight. Obviously, this year has been so much better than last school year. It feels like freshman year again, where there's obviously kids all over the building and getting to just chat with kids and check in with them and see how they're doing in different ways than last year, obviously. So it's great to be back in that sense. Just to remind folks what my role is as the junior class dean, I just help oversee what's going on in student life, whether it's academic, social, emotional, behavioral, any kind of issues or things that come up. I'm working with the counselors and other support staff in the school to make sure students are supported. And I think that's going to be the big message that you're going to hear over and over again tonight, is the amount of support that is available to students. And I'd also extend that to parents as well. If there's questions or concerns that you have moving forward, always feel free to reach out to me as the dean, reach out to counselors. We're here to work with the students and provide any kind of information that we can. Just wanted to share a couple things. I think in some of my conversations over the last couple of weeks since coming back from break, I think for a lot of juniors, it's starting to feel real. It's kind of crazy to even acknowledge it, that we only have 3 semesters left as a class. obviously COVID making us hit the fast forward button and just kind of skip a lot of the things that we've typically done. I think a lot of kids are realizing their time in high school is, closing a little bit faster than they realized. So I'm starting to talk to some kids about how they're feeling and just being stressed about certain things, or, a 2-point assignment might feel like the world to them right now. And just encourage you just to keep checking in with the kids and seeing how they're feeling about their classes and their assignments, and encourage them to reach out to the dean, to the counselors in school, or anybody else that they have a good relationship with, just so we can help keep things in perspective for them and support them along the way. But other than that, I just wanted to say hello and just show my face again so we can kind of connect on here and just offer some support. And hopefully I look forward to hearing from some people. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Heslin. And now we'll pass it on to our PTSO presidents, Patty Egan and Heather Posen. I'll just give a shout out for our Educational Excellence Campaign, which I'm sure they will mention as well, which this year is sales shade for our outdoor areas, particularly by the theater entrance. We're also looking for one by the Tigers Loft and over by the athletic area, which will allow for outdoor learning, which we love the tent. We are not allowed to keep the tent up that we've had for the past 2 years. And so these sales will allow us to have outdoor classroom space, also meeting space, but also for social events as well. We hope that you will, these are pretty pricey. This is a pretty pricey fundraiser this year, so I hope that you will consider donating to that, and I will pass it on to our PTSO presidents.
Thank you, Dr. Turner. Hi, all. I'm Heather Posen, one of the co-presidents this year. It is a very exciting and challenging time, as mentioned. I have a senior this year at North, as well as a junior, so I'm right there in it with you all. Definitely excited to hear everything that has all the panelists have to say tonight.
And I'm Patty Egan, the other co-president, and I have a 10th grader. So I'm excited to kind of learn a little bit about what you guys are going through. And you can see the rest of the PTSO executive board. Their names are up there. Everybody's listed in the directory. Ever had any PTSO questions, call us, email us. We're easy to find.
Yeah. Thanks, Beth. We'll let you go ahead and read our mission, but we are just excited to have as many of the community get involved each year. It's a wonderful way to meet people and stay connected to the Newton North community. These are ways that the PTSO organizes, coordinates, and supports the enrichment at Newton North. Great ways to get involved.
Yeah, lots of opportunities to volunteer, and the volunteering can be as small as showing up at an event for an hour to chairing an event, and everything in between. We'll be looking for some new PTSO board members next year, so if you happen to be interested. The biggest things coming up are, it's probably Celebration, which is the after senior prom party that's open to all seniors at no cost. It's a way to keep the kids safe and in the building immediately after prom. And you can go whether you attended prom or not attended prom. And it's a tradition going on almost 25 years at North, but since COVID, things have been kind of strange. So you might not know what Celebration is, but we would love to get you involved. It's a great way to pay it forward and let the families of the seniors kind of sit back and relax. So it's on the website. There's ways to sign up.
There you can see the Educational Excellence is the campaign that's happening now. It is only a check writing campaign. You can find information out regarding the sale fundraiser on the website, the PTSO website, and information will be forthcoming from Dr. Turner soon. And you can go ahead and help us with that campaign. And as Patty mentioned, then celebration is kicking off now, and there's a fundraising component that you will see, as well as volunteer opportunities for that. So we, again,
And
hope to see you.
if anybody, if you're curious what the sales look like, there's some great examples on the website. And this is just shows you, you know, the funds that we raise. 85% of the funds do come from membership dues that officially happened in the fall, but people can pay membership dues whenever they feel like it. And our biggest thing is we just want you to be involved, and we're thankful for how generous everybody has been in these difficult times.
Beth, you can scoot forward.
And you can see that the funds are spent, you know, almost exclusively on the students. If it's not the students, it's supporting the staff. And we really work hard to make every penny count.
These are some great pictures of celebration, just to give you an idea that it is an event that takes a lot of volunteers. We've been told it takes about 150 hands to make the event go off without a hitch. So again, please feel free to join us. Information again can be found in our Tiger News emails that go out every Tuesday, or on our website again. Thanks, Beth.
Great, thank you. Yes, we were talking about celebration earlier today and realizing that our seniors were freshmen the last time we had celebration, so they have no idea how awesome it is. And so just speaks to the disruption that we've experienced and how we need to energize our students with these fantastic cultural icons of our school. Up next is Families Organizing for Racial Justice. I'd like to pass it to Nyla Bolas, who is our president for Newton North, and just want to give a shout out to an incredible Newton North, Newton South partnership last week, in which there was a presentation for families. Pass it over to Nyla.
Great, thank you so much, Dr. Turner. Hi, everybody. I'm Nyla Bolas. I am a parent of 2 juniors, and I'm one of 6 parents serving on the steering committee of Families Organizing for Racial Justice, or FORGE, here at Newton North. We really appreciate this opportunity tonight to introduce FORGE to you and share a little bit about the ways that you can become involved. Go to the next slide, Beth. So FORGE is a citywide initiative with chapters all across the district. And here at North, we're a community of parents and teachers and students working in partnership to create a stronger network of support for equity, for inclusion, and racial justice throughout all aspects of our high school. We are fully supportive of and aligned with our school district's commitment, and especially Principal Turner's commitment to racial equity. And we believe that all students benefit from culturally responsive and anti-racist practices and teaching. So here at North, FORGE is focused on 3 things. First is increasing our collective understanding of issues of racism and racial justice and their implications for our school. And then second is building community and strengthening partnerships, both internal and external to North. And then finally is building our own anti-racism skills and competencies. And through all of these, we hope to really lift up and amplify the excellent work of our students, our teachers, and our administrators. Our recent events include a collaboration that Dr. Turner just mentioned with Newton South just last week. It was focused on building school community through affinity spaces. It was an excellent event. It was truly an inspiring and a rich discussion that featured several of our amazing teachers and students here at North. And then coming up, next slide. We invite you to join in any or all of these gatherings. In a few weeks is our ongoing book discussion of Martin Luther King Jr.'s final book. It's called Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? And it's extraordinarily relevant for our times. And then we have another collaborative event with South at the end of March. And in June will be our second, now annual Juneteenth event. And there will definitely be other opportunities for you to learn and engage with us as well. So please visit our website at forgennnhs.org. You can sign up for our mailing list. You can follow up on social, and all of the addresses are at the bottom of the slide. We really welcome the opportunity to connect with you. So thank you so much. Back to you, Dr. Turner.
Thank you so much. We have a new guest to our junior night. We have a group of students from our Human Rights Council who have been working hard on how to make the transition to secondary or to post-secondary more humane for all of us. And so I would love to pass it on to a message from our seniors.
Yeah, hello, my name is Luke and I am a senior.
I'm Olivia and I'm also a senior.
I'm Eureka and I'm also a senior.
And us three are the representatives tonight for the Human Rights Council in Newton North. Basically what we are is a student-led and faculty-facilitated coalition that meets once every month. We meet usually during Tiger Block, but we also meet every week during a wind block. And we discuss different topics. And currently we are working on college equity and how to make the process for you seniors and any generations to come easier for like applying to college and accessing resources. And this video that that is included in your video list is a part of our college equity working group.
So like Luke said, we did make a video and it focuses on how to facilitate conversations with juniors about the college process. So it's geared towards parents, but I'm sure juniors can also benefit from the video. We shared our personal experiences, Luke, Eureka, and I, and a few other students as well. So we reflected on our own experience as well as giving some advice for other juniors.
Yeah, and in terms of some initiatives that we have moving forward, in spring 2022, we're hoping to launch free SAT and AP tutoring, as well as junior seminar events, and also college app Q&A sessions that are especially geared towards first generation and or low-income students at Newton North. And as a whole, the Human Rights Council's College Equity Group is hoping to make the process more equitable for all students at North and raise awareness about the inequities that exist within higher education. So we hope you enjoy those.
Great. Thank you so much. Excellent job. Thank you for your leadership, you three. I will pass it off to Beth Swiderskis, Chair of the Counseling Department, who will introduce our college, our counseling department, and take the rest of the night for you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Turner. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to junior night. The school counselors and college career counselors are here to provide you with an informative evening as our juniors embark on their postgraduate planning process. Our approach in providing this information is now, as opposed to earlier in the year, just so that our juniors get a solid foundation for the first semester during school, as they certainly transition back into in-person and live instruction and experiences. And then gradually, we add this information that it's going to fill up their plates a little bit more. And we also know that they probably tell you that their plates are pretty full right now, but that's why we want to do it in an approach, a little more of a softer approach as they gear up for the spring, into the summer, and then when they return as seniors. Much of what we'll be presenting tonight is connected to the college planning, and we do recognize that many students take an alternate path. So please know that we will provide the right resources, the right type of support, no matter what future plan a student decides to pursue. Now, that being said, the student is the center of all of this. So we encourage our juniors to take the lead in this process and not to get too caught up in the stress that lives within our school and our external communities. So tonight, You'll all receive information and get a glimpse of what our juniors can expect to be involved with throughout the remainder of the year. And you'll hear about the multiple types of support offered to our students and our families, both personally and electronically. So speaking of electronic support, you've all been sent the junior night program for tonight. At one point, I think I put it in the chat. And as you scroll to that second page, which some people have already alluded to, of the document, you'll see all the types of videos on various topics that may be of interest to you. We hope that you'll take advantage of viewing these videos, which provide helpful information. And if there's something that you haven't seen or you have questions to ask, you ask away, and make sure that you also will have the contact information for any of the college and the school counselors as well. So now we're going to take a shift, and we're going to get into the counselor presentation of the evening. Each counselor will introduce themselves, and then some counselors will present on certain topics, and then we'll have an open bit for Q&A, and we'll use the Q&A feature in the Zoom to address any of your questions. Okay, so at this point, take it away. And I think we're going to start with Atira, who's going to say hello.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Atira Horn, and I'm the new METCO counselor at Newton North this year. And I work primarily with the METCO students grade 9 through 12. And I support, along with the two counselors that you're meeting tonight, I support students with their college and career trajectory and their social emotional needs. And I collaborate with the counselors and METCO headquarters to really provide some unique program and mentorship opportunities for students. So if students are interested, please let me know, and I'd love to connect with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Atira. And now each counselor is just going to introduce who they are at their names, and then we're going to get back into the specific topics. So I think we start with Mr. Amidio.
Hey everyone, Brendan Amidio, school counselor. Nice to virtually see you all tonight.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, Nancy Dakota.
Hi, everyone. I am Jolene Felia. I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, everyone. Matthew Ford. Thank you for attending this evening.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Griffin. Nice to see you all tonight.
Hi, everyone. Belma Johnson. Nice to see you all tonight.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Kennedy, and I'm glad you could join us.
Everyone, Pat Manning, thanks for coming.
Hi, I'm Sarah Polstein. Nice to see you guys all tonight.
Hi, I'm Kira Slosky. Welcome and enjoy this evening.
I am Jessica Volmer. It's great to be here with you all tonight.
Hi, everyone. Jen Garrity. I'm a college and career counselor, and thank you for all of you being here tonight.
Jill, you're muted.
That's so embarrassing. I should have this down by now. Thanks for bearing with me with my technology issues. I'm Jillian Hall. I am one of the college and career counselors.
Thank you, everyone. Hello and welcome. My name is Melissa Hannenberger, and I am the last of the 3 Newton North College and Career Counselors. And I would like to now introduce the role of the College and Career Counselor. So here at North, our families are extremely lucky to have a unique model where, in addition to their school counselors, our students work with College and Career Counselor starting in January of junior year. For the last 2.5 years, your child has worked with a school counselor to prepare them for this moment when their academic, educational, and personal goals merge toward a plan for their future. Each junior now has a team of experts who come together to support these future plans, and we share information with each other across the next 1.5 years. As Dr. Turner mentioned, please know that these plans do not have to include college. We also help North students plan gap years and explore military, employment, and trade school options. I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Jen Garrity, and she's going to talk to you all about how to make an appointment with a college and career counselor.
Thank you, Melissa. Hello again, everybody. My name is Jen Garrity. I'm one of the college and career counselors here at Newton North. For students, I can let you know that juniors may begin signing up for appointments with the College and Career Center. The 3 college and career counselors, myself, Melissa Hannenberger, and Jillian Hall, we all have different schedules. We're all in the building at different points of the week. So students, please be sure to check out each one of our schedules to see who works best for you. I think this was answered in the chat, but it does not matter who you sign up with. You're not assigned a college and career counselor like you were your school counselor. So whatever works best for your availability. And you can mix and match throughout your time at North. If you meet with me once, you may meet with Melissa or Jill another time, and that's completely fine. You'll find our calendars linked in the info for class of 2023 Google Doc, which I know has been sent out and will be talked about in a second. It's also in Naviance, and students, you can also come down to the College and Career Center. We have our QR codes available, which will link you right to our calendars too. Students, important thing, you cannot miss class to meet with one of us. You have to meet during a free block or during a tiger block. If for whatever reason you can't find a time that works, just reach out to one of us, drop by the office. We'll get creative and find a way to fit you in our schedule. We encourage all students to consider signing up for an appointment soon, even if you're not ready to start this conversation. Our books do fill up a little bit quickly, so even if making an appointment for March or April, that's totally fine. We have our calendars out through the end of the year. And please know that you do not need to come prepared with anything to one of these meetings. We're just at the beginning of this process, and it's okay not to have all the answers right now. And with that, I'll turn things over to Jillian.
Thanks, Jen. The last thing that we did want to highlight from the College and Career Center are 3 resources that you can begin accessing immediately. So first is, as Jen had mentioned, the College and Career Center does have a central Google document where we've been posting information related to planning for life after high school. I'll go ahead and share my screen quickly to show you the document. As you can see, the document's entitled Information for the Class of 2023, and it includes information about literally everything, ranging from links to our appointment calendars, recordings of past events, standardized testing information, information about financial aid, upcoming admission events, and career planning. New information is added constantly, and any new information, as you can see, is highlighted in orange. So we do recommend that you bookmark this page and do check it on a weekly basis. The next resource that I would like to highlight is the Newton North College Planning Guide, which I'll show you right here. And this college planning guide can be accessed through the Newton North website or through that info doc. And the college planning guide does have a table of contents that I will show you right here. And we do cover all different aspects of the college admissions process. So using the table of contents, you can navigate to the areas of the process that you have questions about and that you want to learn more about. It is important to note that the college planning guide hasn't been updated since the spring of 2019 due to COVID, but we will be updating it this summer for your use later in the summer and again in the fall. And then the last resource that I did want to mention is that we will be offering virtual visits from admissions representative from different colleges and universities this spring. Over the fall, we had 75 different colleges and universities visit us, and we had a great turnout from the students. And these visits are just a great way for students to learn about an individual college, show some interest in that college, and become more familiar with the process and the admissions world. So we will post these offerings in the class of 2023 Google Doc and in Naviance, and students will sign up in My Flex Learning because they do happen during the WIN blocks. And then the last thing that I did want to do before I turned it over was to just leave you with some reassurance. We know that there is question and concern regarding college admissions in a global pandemic, and many students and families are feeling that. I know there's probably some of you that are actually going through pandemic admissions for the second time. And so we know that families are feeling like there's a lot of unknowns. So I did want to reiterate that we're here for you. We've been doing this for 2 years and we have tons of resources and connections within higher education, and we're up to speed on all the changes. We've got a good handle on this, and we promise we've got you. And as Dr. Turner had mentioned at the opening of the meeting, in the senior survey last year of the college goers in the class of 2021, 80% reported that they're attending one of their top 3 colleges. This data is consistent with what it's been for many years. So we do hope that this provides reassurance that the process is working smoothly at Newton North and students are ending up happy and excited about the places that we're at. So please, as you're overwhelmed starting the process, keep that data in the back of your head, and hopefully it makes you feel better. All right, thank you all, and I'll turn it over to Michelle Kennedy.
Thank you, Jillian. That was really reassuring. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the role of the school counselor. And now you know that the work that the College and Career Center counselors do dovetails with the work that the school counselors do. We share information, we collaborate. The school counselors are here to help juniors manage the overall process of creating a post-high school plan, navigating the college application process eventually, and developing an overall career plan. Yes, every student needs to have a post-high school plan that's a good fit for them. You'll hear that from us a lot. We also assist with helping register for standardized tests if that's something your junior needs, and applying for accommodations when appropriate. In the fall of their senior year, we'll write a confidential counselor statement designed to add dimension to the student's post-high school process. More on that later this evening as well. And once junior seminars conclude later this week, school counselors will start making individual appointments with each of their juniors to start the post-high school exploration process. More on junior seminars in a moment. And lastly, it's important to note that school counselors strive to meet each of their juniors where that junior is and support them with whatever they need this year and throughout senior year. And now Jessica Bulmer will talk a little bit more about junior seminars. Thank you.
Thanks. So counselors began meeting with our juniors in small groups for junior seminars last week. We're having our second week of junior seminars this week. And we're going to have a third junior seminar in late May to prepare our students for how to have a productive summer. And these seminars are really the kickoff for students to really begin thinking about their plans after high school. Although we completely recognize that our students may be in different places and different stages in their thinking. We share a lot of information with students in these seminars, and our goal is not to overwhelm students, but simply to provide the information and then support each student individually and meet the student where they're at, as Michelle said. So in these seminars, some of the topics that we cover are, we introduce students to Naviance, which they may not have really interacted with since their freshman year. It's a web-based awesome tool that we use. We walk them through a variety of helpful resources and college search and career exploration tools they can use. They each have their own account. We talk about the teacher recommendation letters as well as teacher comments. We talk about the difference between them, and we tell them about the process for how to ask teachers for both the letter of recommendation as well as the comments. And we really encourage the students to start thinking about which junior year teacher they will ask. And of course, we offer our assistance if they're really kind of struggling with who to ask. We review the Newton North graduation requirements with students, and we have the students look over their own transcript and fill out a progress to graduation form to make sure that they are fulfilling their course distribution and meeting graduation requirements. We talk about the course registration process for senior year. It's very exciting. They actually get to have some choices in their English classes and their history classes, science classes. And that's coming up soon. In a couple of weeks, it all gets kicked off. And actually, Amanda Griffin is going to be telling us more about that.
Hi, everybody. So I'm here to talk about the course registration process. And as Jess mentioned, it does start just after February vacation and it goes through till about March. The big thing that we discuss with your children is we really stress balance. And that's something we've been talking about since freshman year. So they've heard this before, and we continue to stress it into senior year because I think a lot of what happens is students going into senior year start thinking a lot about what else do I need to take? I need to take on a lot of classes. I'm applying to college. I need to really beef up my academic rigor. And while some of that is true, we do want students to challenge themselves. We want them to also be successful and also still be able to have a life and have enjoy their senior year and be able to participate in the things that bring them joy and make them happy. So that's everything they need to kind of consider when they're choosing their courses in senior year. The biggest thing that we discuss with them is making sure their social, emotional, and physical health remains intact. That's the most important. We really do not want them to become overwhelmed. And one thing they need to remember is that the courses they choose going into 12th grade, they cannot change when the fall rolls around. So they really have to put a lot of thought into what they select going into senior year. Our rule of thumb has always kind of been, do not take more than 3 honors or AP classes. That is not a hard and fast rule, but that's kind of the rule of thumb. So every student is different, every student's unique, and that is kind of where we come in to have a long discussion with you and your child about kind of what makes sense for them. Everybody's an individual, so it's really, we do work hard to make an individualized schedule that works best for the student. But that's kind of a general rule of thumb, and that seems to work well, and it gives students enough time to allow for extracurriculars and time with friends and family and things like that. So the registration process, so Beth has asked me to share my screen. She really put me on the spot here. So I'm going to share my screen and show y'all where you can see we have on our website. Oh boy, hold on. We're going to do this, I believe.
You got this, Amanda.
Oh
Says
boy.
all panelists can share screen, so you should be in good shape.
Does anyone see anything yet?
Not yet.
No, hold on. I hit share screen. There we
There you
go.
go.
So if you're on this Newton North website, if you go to academics and under course registration, you'll see an area that says course registration. When you click on that, there is a registration timeline that gives you a very general overview of the general timeline that we're using to go through the registration process. And so what students do first, and they've done this before, so rest assured that your student knows how to do this. I think it's helpful for you to know what they're going through so that you can kind of talk through it at home with them. But teachers talk to students and recommend courses. So the general recommendation for level comes from the teacher and the teacher's discussion with the student. The student requests then electives to complement their kind of core academic courses. And as Jess mentioned, it's really nice as seniors have a lot of choice around the courses that they select. So that's kind of fun, but it can also make choosing a schedule a little bit more complicated. So they do have to put a lot of thought into it because they do have a lot of freedom. And then counselors review the student course requests, and then students and parents, hopefully together, verify the course requests, and that's they have their last chance at the beginning of April to kind of add, remove any courses and finalize everything. And then after that point, everything is kind of the way that it should be without any further kind of changes or adjustments. So the idea is everything stays that way until the fall, which I know feels very, very early, but when we're trying to balance and make a huge schedule for 2,200 students, it's a lot to manage. So that is the goal, and you can find that on the website, which is really helpful. The other thing that you can find on the website is the course, the opportunities book, which is the whole booklet that shares all of the courses that we have to offer, which are, there's many. And you can absolutely look through that with your student to kind of look over the many choices they have. So there's a lot to think about, a lot of exciting things, especially going into senior year. There's a lot of cool classes they can take, and this should be an exciting time. And next is, I don't remember who goes next. Is it Brendan? All right, Brendan, you're up.
Hey, everybody. So I'm going to talk about the junior comments, the junior teacher comments. These will be in place starting around the week of March 28th, and they will go until April 8th. So what we ask the juniors to do is to ask one of their 11th grade teachers, coaches, faculty advisors for a club, anyone the student is really connected to write a brief little blurb that we counselors will use in our counselor statement. Though that counselor statement, which Mr. Ford will talk about in a little bit, is submitted off to college admission offices, future employers, gap year programs, etc. In the little blurb that the teachers write, they'll talk about a few adjectives or first words that come to mind when describing that student. They'll also put some personal anecdotes of a challenge or an activity or an assignment that the student may have done and completed in that class. So it gives it a great kind of picture of that student in a moment in time. So again, we will do that around the week of March 28th. There will be some Google Forms for the students to complete, and the students should consult with their school counselors, so whether it be me or one of the other lovely people on this meeting tonight, to talk about who might be the best option for them to choose as their junior teacher comment. Off to Sarah for teachers' letters recommendation.
Awesome, thanks, Brendan. So similar time frame, that March 28th to April 8th week, our students are going to be asking teachers for letters of recommendation. So these are confidential. They'll be sent directly to the colleges whenever the students have informed their teachers where they are in fact applying, so sometime next fall. So the teacher is going to be writing about the student within the context of the class, so talking about their academic progress, but also going to be talking more broadly about the student's character, how they might be seen in the school community, what they're passionate about, etc. So we really do encourage students to reach out to teachers that know them pretty well as a person, not just teachers that they are doing really well in their class. As we go forward and create that college list, we're going to put it on the students to know how many letters each of their colleges will require. Usually it's 0, 1, or 2. So we do recommend that students ask 2 teachers for recommendations so that they can be prepared for no matter which colleges end up on their list. If there is a chance that they're going to be applying early decision or early action, it's really imperative that they get a commitment from a teacher this spring for the recommendations so that the teacher does have ample time to be prepared for those earlier deadlines. This gives the teachers time to plan and to write, obviously. We also just want students to know that they can only ask 2 teachers. There's not a need for any more. And I know some students have awesome relationships with many people in the building, but we do only want them to ask 2. And I'm going to pass it off to Matthew for our counselor statements.
Hi, everybody. So our counselor statement is an additional supporting document that is required by most college applications. We are prepared to do that job basically from the moment a student joins our caseload. We know that that's coming. So as long as we will have been working with our students, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, we're sort of gathering information based on interaction, but also based on observation to write a non-predictive or non-evaluative letter of introduction, if you will. So we created a document that was as a result of soliciting information from admissions offices around the country. And what we were told is our perspective is a unique one. And you know, what they don't necessarily need to read in our statement is information that's shared in other aspects of the application by the teachers and their recommendations or by the applicant themselves. So we get to share our own unique perspective along with the teacher comments that are shared with us. And we are able to tell stories, extenuating circumstances that are agreed upon between child, family, and counselor. We would not share confidential information that families did not want shared. And lastly, I just want to say, I know this year is a unique year because our whole department now has juniors. So some of you may be wondering, how is my child's counselor going to do that? We are a team and we work together. And if we need to support each other to talk about students who were previously on our caseloads, we are here to do that. But also, please know it's not uncommon for really the beginning of the meat of the work between student and school counselor to kind of start now, even with their future planning process. A lot of kids are like, oh, that's how I can use my counselor. So that's not uncommon at all. But if you have any questions or concerns about how that's going to work, please reach out to your child's school counselor. And now I will hand it off to Pat Manning to do a question and answer and wrap up.
So that's it for the night for our prepared statements. Hopefully what you took from this is that there are a whole lot of us here willing to work together, and we're willing to help your children out and get them to whatever their goals are for when they leave Newton North. And we would encourage you to use the Q&A box, and we're going to answer some of those as we see them. Some are in the chat, but if you put in the Q&A, we'll also try to answer those live. Type the answer in the chat. So all of us are kind of going to jump in on these. One of the questions I see is, do teachers solicited for recommendations have to be from grade 11 only? And I'll start off. We would definitely recommend that grade 11 teachers make the most sense to write those letters. If you had an extenuating circumstance, talk to your counselor about why you think another teacher might make sense, but grade 11 is going to have the sort of most recent information about you. They'll have a full year to sort of talk about how they got to know you and where you're at that point. So I think that is a good place to start, is in grade 11. Some of these are going to be post links. So someone asks if parents can reach out to college counselors, assuming our kids are not particularly communicative. And we will always talk to parents, but we would definitely like your child to be in the driver's seat for this process. As much as possible, we want them to be directing this. You know, they're going to be the ones going to college. They're going to be the ones who have to ultimately, you know, take that step. So definitely recommend that they lead that charge. If you need to push them a little bit, certainly you can help, but we would love to hear from them more than from the families.
Pat, I think there was the question about, can you please post the link to the list of classes that may be referring to what Amanda was saying about the opportunities book and the different, all the choices. So the opportunities book for the next year is going to be hot off the presses pretty soon. That's getting to the point where all department chairs and any new classes are going to be indicated, and that's going to be in that Newton North website area where Amanda showed. That information is absolutely going to be sent to everybody, probably by our email guru, Amy Winston, and making sure that everybody has links and access to the opportunities book for all the classes that are available for next year, as well as the timelines that continue to come. And we will continue to send those a lot through the Beals House, through Cheryl Stover, because if they're grade level to juniors, but just making sure you're not going to miss this information. You're probably going to continue to be a little overwhelmed by the amount of information that you're going to get.
Beth, I actually just put a link to the website with the course registration timeline and information. So it's in the chat.
Yes. All right.
And we had a question about meeting with a counselor when a student has a new counselor. I think I would echo what Matthew said earlier. We work as a team. We'll be collaborating on you know, getting to know these students, and as we write stuff for them, we will collaborate with the past counselor to make sure we have all the information. It's all been transferred. And again, you know, the relationship with the students, it really picks up in the next year and a half as they get focused on postgraduate. So we will get a lot of opportunities and get to know students very well in this next year and a half.
Mm-hmm. There's a question about the Naviance control students. Amanda?
Well, I was just going to answer the Naviance one.
Okay.
And yes, I mean, students, the Naviance account is the student's account. We always encourage students to share their password if they want to with their parents, but it's really kind of up to them. So, you know, that's a discussion that you can have with your child and say, you know, if you want help with this process, this postgraduate process, I'm happy to do that with you. And if you'd like to share your account information with me, we can do this together, but it really is their account and it's theirs to use. So that's kind of how it works. There's just one login. There's certain things you can access as a guest, but it won't be their particular information. So it's just more general information.
We have a question about including a coach's recommendation. That would be separate from a teacher's letter of recommendation. The teacher's letter of recommendation would be from an academic teacher. So a coach would be something separate. And a place where you could put a coach is a comment. That would be a place where you could use that information. So yeah, it would not be one of the two teacher recommendations.
So just to jump in for a quick minute, if you think your child is going to study theater or art, those teachers can be helpful recommendation writers. And if your child is a career and technical education major, then it's important to have that teacher be one of the recommendation writers. And typically recommendation writers are people who have taught your child content and evaluated them or assessed them.
Just to piggyback on what Michelle was saying, the goal of the application, admissions offices want to see the different perspectives of the people that your kids enlist in this process. And so it's, you know, everybody's got a different kind of experience. Teachers talk about the classroom. We talk about different aspects of working together. You know, there are a lot of really independent, self-sufficient students who may not access their school counselor for a lot of resources. We're able to describe that as well. So the relationship is something that is important to us and we try to nurture all along. But sometimes that relationship is with a fiercely independent and very self-sufficient young man or woman. That's a very helpful thing for us to be able to say. So if there are things that you would like us to know that we may not, we absolutely welcome you to share information with us, and you know, and we can sort of take it from there, take that ball and run with it.
And so it looks like we have answered most of the questions. If you look in the Q&A, some of them were answered, were typed in. So it is 7:31, and this might be the closest we've ever been to on time for a family night. So I feel like let's not ruin it by keep going. We're all leaving with good feelings right now. So yeah, thank you. I think that is
Thank
it,
you,
right?
everybody. And this is being recorded, and we'll be sending this out through the Beals House office as soon as the recording is ready. We appreciate everybody who was able to attend, and reach out to your school counselor, involve the junior. It could be a really exciting and engaging process. That's where we really want to make sure that everybody understands. And we're excited to really start this process with everybody here. Thanks so much.
Just echo, we love the fact that we have win blocks now for seminars. We actually have devoted time where students aren't missing class for this. So that's exciting. And thank you to our counselors. Thank you, Beth. Thank you for everyone who was here. Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.